Hi class, today I'm going to present that acid rain by Max. So here we go. Firstly, let's talk about what is acid rain, which is also means the definition of acid rain. So firstly, I have to explain clear that acid rain is not only talk about rains, it's talk about all of the precipitations. For precipitations, all kind of like stuff like rain, that included rain, fog, snow, and any other stuffs like that, which are acidic, would be called acid rain, which means precipitations combined with some acidic pollutants in the air. And before I talk to the second part, I would say like unpolluted precipitations have a pH value of around 5.7. In this case, you would ask that as we learned before, if a substance is neutral, its pH value supposed to be 7, but here it's 5.7. This is because of the carbon dioxide in natural will do reaction with water to get some acidic substance like carbonate acid. But however, if there's acid rain, the pH value will decrease to below 5.6. And then let's talk about the history of the acid rain. As a phenomenon, acid rain started since the Industrial Revolution. So from this, we will know that acid rain is seriously related to like industrial production. And then negative impacts of acid rain was first found by John Evelyn, has a picture of him in the top part. He found out that some negative impacts. One of the example is the poor condition of some architectures made with such as limestone. And then the term acid rain was first coined by Robert Argyll Smith in 1872. This means like the guy called Robert Smith, which is in the middle of this. Which has his picture in the middle, and that was found in 1980 centuries. He's a person who named some acidic precipitation as acid rain. After that, nowadays, acid rain as a topic, which is presented by Max in 2020. And here's a picture of Max. Look, what an awesome person. And then let's focus on the causes of acid rain. So as I said before, acid rain is a result of different human activities such as air pollution. So that's related to industrial productions. After that, there are two major kinds of pollutants who are responsible for acid rain. The first one is sulfur dioxide. Is sulfur dioxide, which is mainly polluted by the burning of some phosphorus from factories or stuff like that. And the second one is nitrogen dioxide, which is also polluted by the burning of phosphorus. And here is a picture shows what is exactly the process of acid rain works. First of all, some gases, as I mentioned before, it could be SO2 or NO2, which is nitrogen dioxide polluted by factories. And as we learned before, the particles of gases can move around freely. Then, by the force of a wind, it can move upward, and combine with water molecules in the air. It could be cloud together to create some rains, and the rains go down to our ground, which has a lot of negative impacts here. We will go through that later on. And here are balanced equations show that process of producing acid rains. The first one is like sulfuric dioxide combined with water to produce sulfurous acid, and the second one is nitrogen dioxide combined with water to produce nitric acid and nitric oxide. Both of the two substances are acidic, and they will be a part of the acid rain. Now let's talk about some negative impacts of acid rain. Firstly, acid rain is very harmful for our environment, which is, to be more specific, its ecosystem. Because after acid rains fall down on the ground, it will fall into some lakes, rivers, and even oceans, and then the water bodies will be polluted. They will be acidic. Acidic water could kill some organism underwater. One example is frogs, because the source of food of frog will be lack, and then they will be endangered as a result of that. Actually, we already know that if one species is endangered, the whole ecosystem will broken down. That's horrible. Another example of a negative impact is the impact of sculptures and infrastructures by acid rain. This is because of acid rain could react with some materials such as limestone and stuff like that, and then to reaction with them and then damage them. Here's a reaction explain how that works. So the calcium carbonate react with sulfuric acid and produce calcium carbonate and calcium and water and carbon dioxide. So in this case, calcium carbonate, which is a major chemical composition of the material, is gone, and then the infrastructure or sculpture is damaged. Nowadays, acid rain is an increasingly worldwide problem. Here's a map shows that areas that influenced by acid rain, especially for East Asia, Europe, and North America, and also South America and Africa. Actually, that's worldwide. You can find it everywhere around the globe. And here is a fun fact that many acid rains in Canada are originally come from the US. So Canadian people don't blame people in America. Here's some tips that shows that what should we do to save this problem. So basically, what are we mainly trying to do is reduce the emission of gases will causes acid rain, such as sulfur dioxide, as we said before. And different people have a different responsibility. For the government, there is real responsibility setting up some laws to restrict air pollution, which means like to set up a standard that how many gases that a factory can pollute it, how many carbon dioxide that a car can pollute it, or what kind of pollutants cannot be polluted or released. For ordinary individuals, maybe it's better for us to change our way to commute. We can take in public transport instead of driving private cars, or riding bicycles instead of driving private cars. If you have to drive in private cars, please pick up more friends so that the emission per person will decrease seriously. Here's a special tip for students, is that students should go school on Friday because there's an activity called for Fridays for Future. Actually, that doesn't work. I like to go to school on Friday. It's nice to go school on Friday because on Friday we can learn more chemistry with Mr. Tanedi, and in the future, the scientists of new generation may probably figure out a better way to solve acid rain. So here's the links of references and the links of images. Thank you very much. Thank you for listening.